Sia Nejad Sports, coming off a really great show a little while ago with Pamela Maldonado and, of course, Daniel Negreanu, Real Kid Poker. But we've got a huge guest today, too. A guy who's sort of quietly, subtly a mentor of mine, but really a mentor to people, anyone in his orbit, in my opinion. It's none other than David Meltzer. You can follow him at David Meltzer on Instagram, on, of course, Twitter, and you can follow him in a lot of other places. And I'll tell you where in a second, but let's introduce him first. David, how's it going? Thanks for being here.
Oh my goodness, what a pleasure it is. And I love any platform that you are on, but even more importantly, a platform that allows me to utilize my mission of empowering others to empower others to be happy, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
So, and part of that mission is you giving your, I mean, part of, your knowledge. You always do meetups. You're traveling everywhere. You have so much energy, and we're going to get to that in a second. But I do want to promote your book. I mean, one of your books at least, because people can get it for free. And so when you talk about empowerment, I think it's really important that people understand they can literally email you at david@dmeltzer.com and get a signed book from you for free. You pay for shipping, you pay for everything. They literally pay $0. So everybody, Connected to Goodness is the book. All you have to do is email David at david@dmeltzer.com. This is not something that's just for this show. If you're watching this show 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 years from now, you can email david@dmeltzer.com to get a signed copy of Connected to Goodness. And David, you're doing so much. You're a co-founder of Sports One Marketing. You're the host of Office Hours, the 2-Minute Drill. Of course, you have your own podcast, entrepreneur, speaker. I can't believe all the places that you are going, like just in the next few days, but that's your normal schedule, right? You're going to Anaheim, then you're going to Austin, Texas. You're going to Dubai, Mexico City, I believe, coming up soon. You're going to the Masters at Augusta. You're stopping by the Indy 500, the ESPYs on July 12th. You'll be there too. You're always at the Super Bowl. You're always speaking. And I want to get to your energy in a second. But first, for those of you that are new to the show, I want you to understand what this is. This whole Sia Nejad Sports mission has been really to empower people. And that's why David is such a good guest. It's really to inspire people, motivate people. And if you follow David on any of his platforms, and there are so many, you know that that's basically what he does. He is so many things, but primarily, in my opinion, and David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I really think of you, of course, as an entrepreneur, but really as a motivator, as somebody who can inspire. And I know that's sort of your mission. So my thought today, and we're only going to be here about 20 minutes, is to talk about some of the things that you've said in the past at some of your meetups where you do those in person across the country and across the world, on Instagram. Some of these things that I think aren't just inspiring, but are tools that people can use and apply in the future. So if you don't mind, that's how I'd like to proceed.
I love it. Let's make it happen.
Let's start with this. I really love this one. Talk to me about attention plus intention equals coincidence.
Yeah, that's the mathematical equation of luck. If you look at me, you probably think, wow, this guy's extremely lucky. And that luck was created by 5 daily practices that allow me to focus in on what I want in a trajectory of what I think I want, but not just focus in on it. Vision boards are terrific to look at your dream penthouse in downtown San Diego, or, some great health in your own life, or whatever is important to you. But it's the attention plus 5 levels of intention. Do everything that you can in the trajectory of what you think today. Say everything in the trajectory of what you think you want today. Think everything in the trajectory of what you think you want today. Believe everything that you think you want today. And most importantly, feel it. Be inspired. Be motivated. Be confident. Utilize the mathematical equation of luck. Attention plus intention equals consequences, coincidences, and karma. It creates your actual existence. And if you can practice that equation, people will tell you every day, like they tell me, man, are you lucky?
And that's the thing. If we could just distill that down a little bit, aren't you really saying you dial in on something and you're purposeful about it and you're pragmatic about it, then those coincidences, those things that some people deem luck, well, it's really your design, your attention and intention that resulted in that alleged air quotes luck.
Yeah, exactly. One of the nuances of it as well, Sia, since we're trying to teach as many people as we can, is a lot of people don't realize the past plays a critical role in your future. That so many people limit themselves by a meaning of the mistakes, failures, and setbacks, void shortages, and obstacles of their past, defining moments, inflection points of their past. I have people all the time tell me, I won't, because of something that happened in the past. The past is nothing but an indication that you have a better place to be, a better position to be in. It's an indication that you're being protected and promoted to a better place and a better situation. It is not punishing you, and stop allowing it to limit you. And so I want people to add into the equation an understanding of not only a trajectory of where you think you want to be with your attention and intention, but the meaning that you give your past can accelerate you towards your better future.
I love that. Another one that I think you are so just focused upon, and I think it's really confusing to some people. They don't know how to apply it, but you say the only common denominator of happiness is gratitude. So, what does that mean?
Well, in order to be happy, you must enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential, not other people's potential like they'd like you to believe on all these social media platforms, not what's missing, not what you don't have, not what's in comparison, but what you want. And in order to be happy, you need to find three things. And this is what gratitude gives us. Number one, gratitude allows us to find the light in everything, the good side of everything. It allows us to find the love in it, the best of everything, the truth in it. And then finally, gratitude allows us to find the lessons. You see, life is about lessons, and the lessons will keep on coming until you learn them. When you learn a lesson from a failure, setback, or mistake, a pain, a person, an idea that has caused you separation, it is the lesson that resolves it, dissolves it, and disappears it immediately. And so I want people to realize that gratitude gives us those three things: the light, the love, and the lessons in all.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Let's go to enjoy the pursuit, not the outcome. Now, I'm really big on this, David. I think people are so dead set on the outcome that they take a couple steps, they don't see the outcome close enough, and then they quit because their good idea initially just became too hard to do. Life got in the way. Excuse this, excuse that, and it's we never see either the original outcome or an unintended outcome that might be better than the original outcome. So talk to me about the pursuit and why it's so important to focus upon it.
Yeah, well, first of all, human capabilities are limited. And the biggest limitation of human capability is its lack of awareness. And the lack of awareness is not just the progress that we're making, but it even goes beyond the fact that we don't have an awareness of what's best for us. You see, with the foundational principle of what I believe in outcomes is that I believe in something bigger than me, an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing source, non religious, non philosophical, non theoretical, non spiritual. It doesn't matter to me. But I believe you have to believe in something bigger than you that loves you more than your mom so that you can be a ferocious Buddha. What do I mean by a ferocious Buddha? I am telling you that it is for me, my free will that then leads to the deeds of the day that lead to the desires of the future, with a radical humility that I don't know what I don't know. So when I lost over $100 million, instead of being punished, I looked at it with the light, the love, and the lessons that it saved my life and saved my marriage and protected and promoted me to make even more money, to help even more people, and to have even more fun, to be healthier, wealthier, worthier, and wiser in what I'm doing, to understand that I already am, and to identify the interference between me and the outcomes that are best suited for me. It is an impossibility. There's trillions of variables to know the best outcomes for us, but it is not an impossibility to know what I want today towards an outcome I think I want. It's not an impossibility to know who I can help and who can help me in the trajectory of an outcome I think I want. It's not impossible to know how productivity, accessibility, and gratitude wise in that trajectory of an outcome I think I want. And that allows me to utilize the antidote to feeling overwhelmed and procrastinating, which is to prioritize my day in a trajectory of an outcome that I think I want. Notice I keep saying an outcome I think I want. That is the allowance of detachment. I utilize free will every day by the deeds I do and the desires that I have to create my destiny. My destiny is in that faith that I'm going to create outcomes bigger and better than what I dream of. But I have to aim towards something. So I just call it an outcome I think I want. I think I want to make over $1 million. I may change tomorrow. I think I want to live to over 111 years. I think I want to marry this girl. I think I want, but notice I don't say I'm going to be happy when I marry the girl, when I make $1 million, when I'm 111. No, I think I want allows me to know my what, my who, my how, my now, and my next to apply my why instead of search for what I already have.
Ask for help. That's a big thing with you. Always ask for help. So tell me about that, because I think people, when they hear you say, and you say it a lot, hey, one of your failures in the past was just not asking for enough help. And a lot of people are just really reticent to ask for help because they think they're bothering people. David, I ask you to come on the show. I think I'm bothering you. But what you tell me always is, no, you're very thankful and you have a lot of gratitude for me asking you. So talk to us a little bit about asking for help and why everybody should be doing that.
Best piece of advice I can give all of you and myself, 3 simple words: ask for help. You see, when we think we're bothering something, we think we're someone or something. When we think there's a win or a loss in giving and receiving, when we think we have to give to receive, this is wrong. There's no zero sum. I know it's difficult for you and I to realize that because we went to law school. We're very transactional. We know what the words quid pro quo mean. Right? That is an antithesis of what the universe is really like. There is not a zero sum game. It's not a trade and negotiation like they teach us in law school. It is a value add game. And the most value that we can give is to ask for help. Because if you don't believe me, how do you feel when I ask you for help? How do you feel when your kids ask you for help? How do you feel when your wife asks you for help? How do you feel when the community asks you for help? I feel terrific. That
Yeah, it's
seems like
empowering.
value. Yeah, it's appreciating. It's adding value to my life and it's acknowledgement because I'm now giving away what I have. See, you can only acquire the knowledge of what you have by giving it away, having it lost, stolen, or cheated from you. The only way to acquire knowledge, to learn those lessons in gratitude of the light and the love that we all share in a system that's infinite and abundant, a value add system of unified thought, is to not only appreciate the value that we get and give when we ask for help, but acknowledge what we've learned by giving it away. And you can't give away what you don't have unless someone asks you for help, and you can give it away. And so this is what an influencer does to live in the flow of appreciation, acknowledgement, and asking for help, compared to an influencer standing in front of shit that they don't own, pretending what they have is not yet but just a snapshot of one individual success that they've had. Be an influencer. Don't be an influencer spreading dis-ease and flu to people with separation by just appreciating what you have and pretending like you've acknowledged it. That's not going to do it. You have to appreciate acknowledgement. Most importantly, ask for help. And the best people to ask for help for, by the way, are people who sit in a situation you want to be in. So when you ask me for help, Sia, say, hey, come on my show, share your vision, your motivation, your inspiration, I take it as a compliment. Not only do I provide value to you and your community, but I take it as a compliment that you actually perceive that I sit in a situation that you want to be in or your community wants to be in, which just adds more value to myself, allows me to acquire the knowledge of what I've already learned, done, said, think, believe, and feel, and allows me now, because I've emptied my vessel, to go ask for more from other people who sit in a situation that I want to be in, or ask you for help with certain things that you are better at than me. Like, for example, your Win Daily show with Jason Mizrahi, you have such extreme knowledge of a sport that I love. I love asking you for help and getting your opinion and making money off of gambling because you understand how that works better than me.
Fair enough. Absolutely love that. Speaking of gambling and speaking of business, one thing that you've said that I think is interesting, and I think it's really applicable to those who maybe they're people that do what I do, but really across any business platform where they're doing something, but they're really not seeing the payoff. They're really not seeing the dividends. And frankly, maybe it's because their perspective is a little short and they think that the returns need to come quicker than they actually should. But one thing that you've said is the key to business is to stay in business. Tell me what you mean by that.
Yeah, most people don't understand that the key in business is to stay in business. So the first thing I think about every day with all the multitudes of business I'm involved in is, have I guaranteed me being in business tomorrow? Right? Because as long as I'm in business tomorrow, it may take me longer to get to where I think I want to be or better, but at least I'll get there. Those people that see this zero sum type of perspective of business and forget about the fact that, hey, if I run out of money, it's the heartbeat of my business. If my heart stops, doesn't matter how healthy I am, how wealthy I am, how worthy I am. So for me, I want people to focus in on the primary heartbeat of a business, which is to make sure that you have the capital to be in business tomorrow first, because then you have all the options, opportunities, touches of favor. You have all the ability to make mistakes, learn from it, and subtly move every single day into a more positive progression by having your behaviors aggregate, compound, and accelerate. So I really encourage people not to look beyond their heartbeat. And the heartbeat of a business is the capitalization of the business to stay in business. So prioritize that, then move to the less prioritization of scaling and hiring and titles and logos, even bank accounts. I want you to stay in business. And then I promise you, eventually, whether it takes you 18 months, 18 years, or 18 lifetimes, you'll get there.
It's interesting what you said about, logos and just, what I suggested about, dividends from business, because another thing you said, and I think this really goes to perspective. I think sometimes people just have a limited perspective and they think, again, certain things should be paying off sooner rather than later. But one thing that you said that really caught my ear was appreciate what you have. We live in a world of more than enough. Talk to me about that. Again, to me, that is you telling the world you need to have some perspective and some gratitude for what you actually have, because what you're unfortunately focused on is the empty side of that glass, or the empty part of the glass instead of the full part.
Yeah, I think there's three worlds. First, most people live in a world of not enough. Why me? They're victims. No matter what happens, they're looking at what they don't have, what's missing, or what other people have. Then there's another set of people that may be doing very well in some aspects of their life, and they look at life as for me. That's the life of trade negotiation. It's the zero sum life of everything's happening for me, and I give to receive, and I'm a good person, and everything's happening for me. But when I'm unhappy, I buy things I don't need. When I'm more unhappy, I buy different things I don't need. And when I'm even more unhappy, I buy things to impress people I don't like. Once again, a zero sum game where there's winners and losers, and I'm constantly comparing myself with stuff that's outside of me. But if you truly can live in a world of more than enough, you have faith that there's an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing source of more than enough, and there's more than enough for everyone. Therefore, instead of trying to go get things, you're just clearing the interference between you and what is already there for you and everyone else within the context of a unified, abundant, more than enough system of thought that we all share. And that we realize why now gratitude is so important, but also forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. And as we move and shift to a different perspective, because we can never overachieve our own self-image, that when our self-image is part and parcel of an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source, when our own self-image is unlimited, abundant, and infinite of being more than enough, that we are more than enough of everything for everyone, that everything changes in the paradigm of life, that instead of going to try to get more, because there's already more than enough, and instead of trying to get more wealthy, more happy, more healthy, we shift the entire the paradigm to I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy. What am I doing to interfere with the more than enough?
I love that. Okay, so I got one more question before I let. And by the way, you said a key word, a buzzword to me: accountability. I want everybody who's watching this to go back to Greg Ducharme's interview and Pamela Maldonado, because we really spoke about accountability quite a bit and sort of how to actually practically hold yourself accountable. But David, you mentioned it at the front end of the show, how you had everything, you were working for Lee Steinberg, everything was just great. And then everything really truly crashed and you lost everything. And now here you are, kind of in most people's eyes, you sort of have everything and then some again. And again, everybody just kind of wants to be in your orbit. I want to just take you back to this is my final question, to that point where the failure happened, to that point, with that low point. And I think a lot of people just have those low points, okay? And they don't know how to get out of them. They don't know how to crawl out of them. They don't know how to correct the mindset to say, okay, I'm here now, but I can be over here if I just do the right thing, if I just stay focused, keep my mind at ease, whatever it is. So I just take me back to that failure point and how you emerged out of it.
Yeah, first of all, my basement had a basement. So not only did I lose over $100 million and have to go tell my mom that I lost everything, but I also had to tell her that, the only reason I wanted to be rich was to buy her a house. I had to tell her she was moving out of her house because I didn't take my name off of title. So my basement had a basement. And I will tell you, one of the lessons I learned from losing everything, that from 0 to 1 is much more difficult than 1 to 100. And so I focused in on, when I was at the basement of the basement, I focused only in and on getting from 0 to 1. I'd tell myself, if I can look up, I can get up. I started to follow the 5 daily practices based off of my 4 values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication. I understood energy has 3 characteristics, and they were, as a human being, I was incapable of seeing the progress that was created by these characteristics. I knew that good behavior would aggregate and attract more good behavior and more good people and more good ideas. I also knew that good behavior as an energy, just like money, not only would aggregate, but it would give me an exponential result by compounding on itself. So the money that I had would not only aggregate and compound, and the behaviors I had would aggregate and compound. And then the third characteristic, which I knew, it would accelerate. So things would happen faster than they happened before. And so I primarily focused in on my values and daily practices in order to effectuate positive behavior and positive energy of what I was doing, saying, thinking, believing, and feeling, to create positive progress that would aggregate all the people and ideas that I knew. It would compound, give me an exponential factoring to the progress and behaviors that I had, as well as accelerate, which would give me a better indication that I was going in the right trajectory of what I thought I wanted, or better. And so for me, understanding that 0 to 1 was going to be difficult, but eventually I would get from 1 to 100 again. And that all I had to do is focus in on my values, take stock in gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration, which is effective communication with the source and others. And then utilize the 5 daily practices each day to say, what is it I want today to get to 0 to 1? Who can I help, and who can help me to get from 0 to 1? How best can I get from 0 to 1? And then prioritize by what's important to me, not what other people are saying. Blame, shame, and justification, attacks, judgments, and conditions that go beyond most people's imagination when you lose that much money. It's amazing what you're facing when you're looking at what other people want, what's missing, what you don't have in that area. But when I focused in on what I wanted and who I can help, who can help me, and how to get it done, I prioritized in that manner, using the values that allowed me to apply my why. And in applying my why, the inspiration, the motivation, I got from 0 to 1 very quickly, and from 1 to 100 and more even quicker than that, because I knew my behaviors would aggregate, compound, and accelerate. And I want everyone to remember, if you are at a basement, or if your basement has a basement, if you can look up, you can get up. Get from 0 to 1 by knowing what you want and finding someone that can help you, and helping other people as well. I tell people all the time as they're getting laid off right now, what should I do, Mr. Meltzer? I got laid off. Go help somebody else. You'll be amazed how many options, opportunities, and touches of favor with the skills, knowledge, and desire that you have, the synergy that is created, the supplemental value, and the alignment that you have with what's doing well today will only be stimulated by your activity of helping others and asking for help. And then you'll know how to get it done in an efficient, effective, and statistically successful way. And your life will be prioritized from 0 to 1 and 1 to 100. That's why I'm here today. And I am blessed to have you as a friend, associate, and anything I can do to be of service to you or your community. Please email me, david@dmeltzer.com.
David, I love that. And it's really that perspective that has gotten where you are. It's so clear and obvious. And, again, getting from 0 to 1, I love what you said about that. And the good behaviors compounding and accelerating and aggregating, because it's really that good behavior, that gratitude, that's going to get you not just from 0 to 1, but from 1 to 100. Speaking of David at dmeltzer.com, David, that is where everybody can get your signed book for free. You're paying for shipping as well. Of course, that's connected to goodness. David at dmeltzer.com. Before you go, anything else coming up? Obviously, I know you're traveling a lot. You're going to a lot of summits and conferences. Anything else that just office hours, for example, 2-minute drill, anything we should be watching coming up?
Look, please listen to my podcast, The Playbook, my TV shows, Office Hours, 2-minute drill, The Playbook, airports, hotel rooms, Apple TV. You can find all my content everywhere. If you forget everything, please don't forget my name, and please don't forget to be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. I'll be back, Sia, and I'll have you on my shows as well. Thank you so much.
Be interested, not interesting. We're going to leave it at that. David, thank you so much. It's truly an honor. I can't wait to have you back, and I can't wait to show up on one of your shows. Really,
I'm going to have
an
you as a co-host with me on an Office Hours, our digital ones. I'm always looking for good people to join me on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So catch Sia on Office Hours. Be there or be square. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining.